or not.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 9 o'clock. It's the Davey Mikey Poo show, and if anyone wants to come and join us tonight, feel free. I have put up the links in the various chat rooms around social media. So everyone in the Wake Up UK chat, God bless you. We love you all. We should spend more time in there paying attention to you. But when we get carried away on this show, this is how we like it. So we're streaming out tonight on YouTube and thingy. Mikey was probably getting drunk last Thursday night up in London. Swanking it around town.
Not quite London. It was nearly London.
Oh.
Nearly London.
Whereabouts?
It was like a roving report. They call it pub crawl.
Happy days. Yeah. A pub crawl.
But yeah, I had to see some people and which worked out pretty well, not very
nice.
good. But I ended up with spending about 200 quid and not making anything because I was supposed to be getting some money back and I didn't get it. Anyway, there you go. There you go. That's life.
Such is life.
Yeah. I think if I got the money back I was owed, I'd be worth a few quid. I actually would, but there you go. Over the years, you just forget. You know, people say, "I'll give you that back when I see it." Well, when you see it, they go, "Well, I ain't got it at the moment." So, anyway, Dave. I want to ask you this. I mean, perhaps all the audience there can get their heads wrapped around this. I had something the other day, and I thought it was quite relevant. LGBT and Q, right? Now, LGB and Q are all about sexual preference.
Are they?
Yeah. Why do they add transgender into a sexual preference? So I mean, so I'm just wondering why that's been lumped in. I
don't know. I've never licked that side of the stamp, and I'm not knocking anyone that does. I've just done a very luxurious bathroom for two gentlemen that are in a relationship, and they're absolutely lovely. Man, I'd just put my life in their hands. They're just such nice people. So I'm not here to question people's sexuality. The downside for me with all of this is an agenda. Force feeding. I can't. It's like Fragua. With a Fragua, they force feed the little monkey, then they slit its throat. And I can't be doing with any group, any so-called clique or cliche or thing that wants to shove something down my throat. I'm not interested in any of it, and never have been. I've never been stereotypical, man. I just think you want to take your shopping in round the back door, fine, go and do it. Don't shit on my doorstep. I'm not shitting on your doorstep. So I don't make. I thought there was a sandwich, in fairness, that you bought from Sainsbury's or Marks and Spencer's LGBT. Do guacamole in it?
There is. I just wonder because it's now such a big issue that and what really gets me now is that that particularly in America, the question is posed: what is a woman? And now there's a lot of people, a lot of people out there would say, well, you know, a woman has babies and a man doesn't. But end of, move on, that's it. I mean, the thing is, I have to say, I sit there watching some of this stuff, and you get this woman who's sitting there, and she's obviously she will obviously die wondering, you know, because you know no one's ever going to get near us. And so you look at her, and you think, well, that she can't be a woman. You know, but I mean, this shows, I mean, because they're aggressive and nasty. But so you say to them, well, you know, what is a woman? And they go, well, he said, am I a woman? And they go, well, you could be. Look, the way I look at it is this, Dave. Right? If we are the top of the chain, we are the top bananas on the planet. Okay. How do we escalate? How many people started with Adam and Eve, and it went on from there, right? Just for argument's sake, right? So how did they do that, right? A man and a woman, right? So how did they do that? Well, they didn't sit there going, well, you know, Adam, you can have children, and Eve, you can have children, did they? No, a man and a woman, you have to procreate and have a baby. So how is it, no matter what you say, that a man can have a baby? How can a man have a baby? It's impossible. But according to these left-wing wokey lovers, all these so-called technically minded, wonderful college professors and God knows what else, they all say, "Oh my goodness, of course a man can have a baby." Yes, a man can. If it's a woman who now says she's a man, that's the only way. Because you know, and I know, if you put two elephants in the room together, on two girl elephants, they can't. They've been forever. They won't have a baby. If you put a male elephant and a female in, they will have a calf. If you put Maggie in like your Dave's got a brand new dog, beautiful dog. There she is over there. Look, his new Rottweiler, who's his heart's desire. If you put her in with another male Rottweiler, the chances are in 6 months' time they look half a dozen babies, and they were trying to sell me one for about $2,000. So basically, why is it then that every other species have a male and a female, but we can't? We are the only people on the planet who suggests that the male side, the one that produced the sperms, are not the only thing. They can too conceive. They're like what they call hermaphrodites, if you like, perhaps, and that's sort of a bit of both. I mean, it's inconceivable that people are falling for this shit. Because I mean, if we're ever going to proceed and get off this planet, I mean, wherever we go, they're going to say you can fuck right off back where you came from, because we don't want you and your bullshit here. And it's absolutely true. So if anybody out there, like the homeless people that say a woman's defined by natural life, absolutely. I mean, a man and a woman. So what is a woman? A woman is a person who has a uterus, has a womb, fallopian tubes. She has all the accoutrement you need to have a baby. Okay. She also has lots of other things. Women are the most precious commodity on the planet.
Oh, mate, let me tell you.
Because without women, me and Dave wouldn't be here. Even Maggie sitting laying down there screaming about Dave. It wouldn't be here. Women are our most precious commodity. They give us succor. They're our mums. They're our sisters. We don't always get on with them. Of course we don't. But that's the human condition. But without women on this planet, and without us giving them due respect and everything else, and we should treasure the asset that we've been given and the pleasure that they give us for being a woman, being a sexual partner, being someone who makes you laugh, someone who makes you cry, all the stuff that we go through as adults, and all the things that we feel come through a woman, or what and a man and a woman together is the most natural thing in the world. So how anybody can say, what is a woman? A woman is the most beautiful commodity on the planet, and without them, we wouldn't be here. So bless you all women out there, whoever you're looking, mucho, man. Really, I mean that.
Yeah,
really.
same as, yeah. I mean, homeless people is defined it perfectly here, right? And that's why I've left this comment up, is because if in doubt over anything, any subject, any issue you got coming, always revert to natural law, because nature don't really get things wrong. And it is what it is, whether it is what it is, in what state. That's just how nature has developed a thing. So let's all go. Like, I've always stood close to natural law. I've always out following the skies and the trees and the wind and the sun, the rain, and enjoying all the elements. I like nature. I like being natural. I like being as nature intended me to be. And in many ways, that's why I am I guess, the way I am, and that's why I value freedom and natural law above anything else, above money, above feelings, above anything, because it's what is right and proper. It's what's right and proper. Now, this week, there's been a massive group of people, and some people are calling this out as being a bit of a misdirected thing. And it is what it is. And all the truthers out there at the minute, they're all calling each other out, and I ain't got no time for it. We are what we are, and we try and attempt to do what we do. But they've tried to take their message and campaign to their council. And I'm going to show a picture in a second of a policeman that was on the gates of the council and forbidding anyone to go in. And if you just study this picture, I've frozen it on YouTube, just study him. Just look at him, look at his face, look at his demeaning, look at the weapons that he's got. And now, I'm sorry, but the police now they appear to have this master race mentality that we can't go in to our public buildings. And we all think we're free in this country. And the sad reality is we're not, because everything you do, you have to pay for. You might not like to admit it. It might be a tough pill to swallow. When I say things to people, I can see their skin getting irritated. I've done it to family members on both sides, on Nick's side and my family side, and I can see them getting irritated and start scratching their necks and shifting about in the seats. But that sometimes is what the truth does, and I've always been able to deliver this truthful thing. And I say to them, you think you're free, but the only way you are free is because you're paying for that privilege. Now, natural man, us all as natural men and women, this is our natural inheritance. And ever since I've come into the world, I've always known that at the core of my substance. And this is why I do what I do, because when we look at this copper, I'm going to present the screen, and I want you all I'm not going to play the video because they just silence it all in any case, but just look at this dude. Just look at his demeanor, right? He's a very handsome man. I'm not suggesting he's not handsome. He is. But it's this, you do what we say. And that's all he's got. Now, in his ear, the one that you can't see too well, he's got an earpiece. So he's getting orders barked into his ear. Now, this guy's a sergeant. As you can see, he's got 3 lapels on his side. But I see these people now as like a Wehrmacht. They're supposed to be for the people, by the people, but what they're actually doing is they're protecting these establishments that are run by this thing called the Crown, whatever the freaking Crown is. And they have no allegiance, they have no affiliation with us at all whatsoever. And they are the Rottweiler in the room. And was they ever on our side? Was they ever for the people? I don't know. I can't honestly answer that question. But we have a situation now where these police stop this massive group of people going into their building, their council building, which they all pay for, because they wanted to get their point across and make a scene, and get there and get some kind of right. We're not having this no more. But no, the police won't allow it. And this cop, during that, he says, so you don't think you can commit a crime on a business? Now, my answer to that would have been, well, a business is a legal entity. It's not real. So, no, you can't commit a crime against a business because you don't have 2 elements. You don't have mens res and actus res. You don't have your intent. You don't have harm. You need a man or a woman to have a crime. You need the injury and the harm to make a crime. But how they would have took that, see, they just give you this waft off now, and then if you carry on, then the violence comes out, the cuffs go on, they cut your wrists, they get the coshes out, they bash you over the head. Do you know what? I think we're all sick of it now, Michael. I think we're all at a point where we're...
Because in the Telegraph today was this.
Go on, what's that?
It says the criminals amongst our crime fighters. Can everybody? I hope you can see all that.
Unbelievable.
They did an expose of what is going on amongst our elite police force. Okay, so shall I read you some figures? I'll read them out. I was going to write them all out, but I thought I must read straight out of the paper. You've got most of what they're doing. 5 of the worst cases are all about sexual rapes, sexual assaults, aggravated assaults on women. All this weird and wonderful stuff, and the figures are quite astounding. It says 725 number of files examined by the inspectorate. Okay, 18% are found to have red flags. These are people who are being looked at. Okay, so it's 31. 58% of Met officers accused of sex crimes or domestic abuse that were found not to have been inspected to the highest standard. So basically, the police, having looked at it, thought, oh, who gives a fuck anyway? They're policemen. Yeah. So, and it says then 5.3% increase in the number of constables between 2020 and 2021, but only 2% of senior officers, of sergeants. So basically, they're not being seen over by experienced policemen because they've let all the policemen go. So basically, the police vetting it sucks. There is nobody there remotely interested in a police force that which is, you said the I would call them the brown shirts in the 1930s. And these people went around. These are the ones who painted the Star of David on Jewish shops and burnt the books. You know, and the night in that night, Camel Mats and all that. So the German analogy between the Metropolitan Police and brown shirts, absolutely right there on the button, and it is. And they go around, as you say, bully boy tactics. It's our way or the highway. Look at the guy that was on Crime Boys a couple of months ago. Guy in his own garden. Guy calls a policeman a dickhead. The policeman beat the fuck out of this guy. They sprayed him in the face, and they 7 policemen there. 7 policemen were arrested. You cannot be arrested for swearing at a policeman or using bad language. You cannot. It's not a criminal.
But it's not bad language, Mike, because them words are all in the English dictionary.
As you said, I think you some time ago you were talking about people gone into court with the stack of dictionaries saying, right, so I use the word fuck off, you, whatever. And he said, well, in the 12th century, that C word was a term of as a friend.
Endearment.
Yeah, it was a term of like, it's just like in Greek, malaka means like fuck off, you wanker. Now it's an accepted way of greeting people. Hello, malaka. But in ancient Greece, it was a term of sort of a pretty nasty thing to say. Like calling someone a wanker. You call most of the we've got 650 sitting in Westminster called malaka. But we'll get to that no doubt at some point during this conversation. But it seems to me now that the police have taken issue with the public. And as far as they're concerned, we are not worthy.
We're not.
You know, the elites are now determined to smash us by doing the most appalling things to us. Interest rates have gone up to 3%. Now to me, 3%. No, not a bog standard. You need a better dictionary than a bog standard English dictionary. You really do need a good dictionary to get all the words you want. And you need some of the dictionaries go back to about 24 volumes. Some of them really big when they really go in detail and explain how the word came about and where it came from. So that's what you need. And you probably need a forklift. You're going to go into the High Court. Because remember, in the High Court, they use legalese. And so when they write to you, they write to you in a way that you don't understand, and then they know exactly what they're saying, but you don't, and then they use it against you. They will corroborate that, no doubt. Anyway, so it's incumbent on us as citizens to take issue with them, and every chance you get, because the police are there as our servants. They're there. They police on because we want them to, not because they get paid to do it. We want a police force. If we don't want a police force, then we've got to put something in place to protect us. And unfortunately, at the moment, the police we've got don't protect us. They're not interested. And so again, that comes back to what we pay for in council tax. You say don't pay the council tax. Why? What is it? I pay 4,000 quid. What am I paying £4,000 for?
What for? What are you paying £4,000 for?
That's what council tax is here is.
Oh,
council tax. council. Look, first of all, ambulances are covered by the
You
NHS.
can't get one.
You can't get one. The police, if you phone them up, unless you've got guys with machine guns outside and they stand outside with a hovering jet, they're not interested in coming here at all. I'll give you a crime number. Not interested. Okay. What you mean, Gabby? You forgot my name. It's Mike. It's really upset.
He ain't gonna get over that now. No, it's fine. He's fine. He's wiped his glasses off.
I mean, it really is. It really is. On us, to take. I'm lost my train of thought now. But I mean, it's on us to take these people to task and put something in place that we can all trust. Because let's get back to council tax. What do we actually pay for? Ambulance, forget it. The only thing we can rely on is the fire brigade. They're the only people I can think, in all honesty, I would say, if I had to give someone $4,000 a year, I'd pay to have the fire brigade because they are men of honour. They do their stuff. They're brave as anything. They're braver than any policeman or most policemen.
Oh, aren't they just?
And they're fabulous. And even when it was we just had this thing about Manchester bombing. The fire brigade wanted to go in there, and they were stopped going in by the police.
Hang on, what are we talking about? That bombing this weekend at the docks?
Yeah, $4,000. $4,000. Because the house I live in is worth what's it worth? About just over about 1.
No. I'm talking about
rateable value. They do it on rateable value, Dave.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the petrol bomb down at Dover this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are calling that out as a BBC stunt and a bit of a political thing,
Well, why did he kill himself?
We're not saying it happened as it did. Yeah, no. Look, council taxes. There's no obligation. In my whole of my life, right, of doing what I'm doing, I can't create an obligation for anyone else. I have to wobble around and try and make a living like everybody else does. So if I can't create an obligation for anyone else, I'll be fucked if anyone in the council can create an obligation for me. And that's the problem. A man can't create an obligation for another man. So all you should be saying to the council is, fine, you want to do this, you want to do that. You may not prejudice me, but show me the obligation. Prove your obligation with material and physical evidence. They can't do it.
Dave, Jabba the Hutt's just turned up.
Well, hey!
Hey, hark at that cunt. He swallowed a dictionary a minute ago, didn't he?
It's an endearment. There's a term of endearment to see you.
Fucking talking about volumes and going back. Fucking hell.
The nice thing is, Yoda, and the nice thing is that you're not sitting in the light, and I can see your face now because usually the light shines on your head and I can't see anything. It's like you're like
I'm actually right up your street. I'm sitting with my pussy in my lap.
Well, hey!
There is no answer to that.
You got a log burner on out? He's got
a big lap, hasn't he? Do you remember that? He looks. Do you remember that cat Arthur? He used to be on the adverts.
Yeah, with his paw in the tucker. Yeah. Hello, you've got a cherry there and all.
Yeah, she's off for a walk. That's me, Maggie Bird.
Looking for Arthur.
big tall Rottweiler.
There was some geese called Alan Merritt putting stuff in the Wake Up chat, but you guys weren't looking at it. It doesn't come up Wake Up.
I've just been in there a minute ago, about 5 minutes ago, and said hello, Alan.
I know. I put up something about Article 2.
Have you just to change the subject a little bit? I tell you what, I don't get starstruck by celebrities or anything like that. Footballers, people are people to me. But Matt Le Tissier, I tell you what, I'll take my hat off to that geezer. Not only was he a Super A striker and he could score
blinding football.
More
a midfielder, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he is giving it some Billy Biggins right now. He's out there smashing it for the truthers. Yep. He's being called this and that. He's been cut off of Sky and everything like that. He don't give a monkeys. He's out there. He's doing podcasts with everyone. Fair play. Matt Le Tissier, big respect, bruv. Big respect.
What annoys me is that Paul Merson. Do you know Paul Merson?
Yeah.
Had drug problem. Did he have drink and drug problem? I don't know he had a drink problem, but did he go on the wacky gear and all? But he's like, I don't know. For someone so fucking self-righteous, he's almost gone fucking chicken turned turtle. Because
chicken turned turtle.
Yeah, he fucking turned completely the other way because 1 minute he's siding and talking with Matt, and next minute he's careful what he says in case he's losing his fucking beer money.
Well, there you go. Everyone protects their interests. There's nothing worse than a desperate man that needs a few quid. They've all lived a life, haven't they? It's like Brian Harvey, bless him, from E17. I've never spoke to Brian. I know my mate Cockney Patriot knows him very well. They grew up together.
Got beat about John, though, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it is what it is. And that's the thing. You should never target people unless you've got absolute 100% concrete physical material evidence. Don't call. I ain't here to call people out. I might look at someone and think, yeah, I'm not really listening to them. But that's it. I ain't for. It's not for us to be fucking slagging each other off. It's disgraceful. We should all be ashamed of ourselves. We're not grown men when we're all slagging each other off. Oh, he's a truther. He's a truther. Oh, he's talking about. Who gives a fuck? It's their truth. Let them say what they want to say. I got no time for when everyone's calling each other out. It's all egotistical. It's all.
Matt's just put in. Matt's just put in the chat. He's a diamond, but he's shit at football now. Of course he would be. His legs are probably gone.
Well, it was funny. They put the England football team back together, didn't they, a few years ago? John Barnes and Ruddock. And then they got the young 18-year-olds to come out and fucking smash the granny out of them, and after half hour, they're just passing out.
They had Razor Ruddock on there, didn't they? Great big fat, and he had a heart attack or something. He had to pull out.
He did, yeah.
Didn't it? Yeah.
Harry's heroes. It was quite funny, actually. I thought it was very funny.
We beat Germany twice. We played them. We beat them twice.
I know, yeah.
I see. I don't know if it was on Dave's show the other night. Somebody put up something about on the Quacious Live. Something put up about Hancock, or he was going into the jungle.
Madazalam Matt. Yeah, Madazalam Matt. I'd give him a bush tucker trial. I'd be serving him up all the fucking fires.
He's going to get so much shit, unbelievable. He's going to be doing all the trial.
Hang on. No, he's not doing it. They found he's got some disease or something, a condition that stops him going. It's called lost his bottle itis.
That sounds about right, Mikey.
Yeah, it's what.
Honestly, was that a joke or what?
Sorry?
Was that a joke or what?
No, it's just I just made it up.
So you fuck pig!
I'm so clever. I'm wonderful.
You are sometimes.
How are you doing now?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I had a little wobble a couple of weeks ago. I just sat in a cafe, and I just burst into tears, and reality hit me home, and it's still very tough.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And you know, like people are looking at you, and you're thinking, "Oh fuck, what am I doing?" You know, I'm a grown adult, and I'm just fucking a wreck.
It's life, bruv. We have these blips. What about this woman from that trust? Has she left you alone? Keep writing to you?
Ah, man, I tell you what. I'm glad because I've got two really good brains with me tonight. Now, this is awkward, right? So they have actually, because I fucking keep writing back to them. I don't let them go. Like dog with a bone. You guys. Charles and Delroy and the like have taught me a few things, and I'll give Spear a big shout out as well, because Spear is getting fucking brilliant. I don't know if you ever get a chance to watch his shows on a Saturday. He's actually getting better and better and better all the fucking time. He's absolutely quite brilliant, Spear.
Good. He's a good man.
Spear. So
big shout out, Spear.
And yeah, I agree. He's actually brilliant. He's watching the show tonight, so big up, Spear. Keep up the brilliant work, and he's maturing with age.
How old is he? He's about 7. He's about
younger than you, Mikey.
No, most people are younger than me. I mean, at 28, of course. But
no, he's only in his 40s, isn't he? Late 30s, 40s?
Who is?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's only young.
I only see him as one-eyed.
If he's watching, he'll tell us. Spear, how old are you? Don't lie. We know what you are, really.
I only see him as a one-eyed monster.
But, anyway,
we're going to go and have a bit of pie mashing, boys, soon, because I'm pretty much.
Well, I was down with David last week, believe it or not. I was looking at some gaffs, but don't say too much. We won't go into that. But what I wanted to ask you guys as well, right. So, in 2012, me and Kathy sat down and we decided we were going to write a will. So, in that will, everything was hunky-dory in 2012. There was no problems, no issues, no problems at all. So we sat down and I said to her, like, if anything happens to me and I'm brown bread, I don't give a fuck what you do with it. You can do what you like with it. I'm dead. I can't contest or fucking argue the toss. Once you're gone, you're gone. I'll be fishing up a daisy somewhere. And Kathy said, well, what we do if anything happens to me, everything goes to you. If anything happens to you, blah, 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 vice versa. But she said, well, let's make provision for the kids, her kids from her first marriage. Suzanne, her daughter, a doting daughter, this is her doting daughter, and her son. I ain't got a problem with her son. Martin and Helen have been absolutely brilliant. So at the end of the day, we've had a lot of problems, you know, about the motorhome, so on and so forth. And we talked about the stuff like I was wrong to give her the logbook and everything. I thought I could trust her because she was Kathy's daughter, blah, blah, blah. Now, in Kathy's will, she's made provision. So hypothetically, say this house is worth £200,000. £100,000 is mine. £100,000 is Kathy's. In that £100,000, which is Kathy's, she wants half to go to Martin, half to go to Suzanne. So hypothetically speaking, £50,000 is Martin's and £50,000 is Suzanne's.
No,
right?
No.
That hang on a minute. That was put in trust or something. Anyway, I've had to do probate. But because of the argy-bargy, I have changed my will because of the aggro of being attacked in the hospital by Luke, Suzanne's husband, of all the aggravation that I've had in town, the problems that I've had to it, and then I banned him from coming to the funeral because he was asking inappropriate questions in the hospital. Is she end of life? Things like that. It was almost like, is there a check in the post? Is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? All that shit that goes with it. So I've written another will, and what I've done is I've done under Section 13 that Suzanne Farrington will be left nothing and her issues. The wording issues meant her family, because her family have done some horrible things to me, pretending they were helping, but all they were doing was trying to find out what we had and what we owned, what was in the bank, everything else.
There's a lot of information coming at you, but let's just go to where you are. Well, first of all, her issue would be her children. That's not her family. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got to make it absolutely tight. There's you leave what you leave. If you say I've got £50,000, right? I'm going to leave that to Dave, right? That's it. You don't make any issue to anybody else. Nothing. Your will says he gets the money. That's it. End of. Game over.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to write that in your will. You don't have to write that in. That's because they're just not mentioned. Okay. However, the point you've just made about your two kids getting 100 grand, 50 grand each. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems to me like, did your wife put it as a secret trust?
Yeah.
Now, and it's up to you how much you give them.
So at the end of the day, the solicitor's now saying.
Well, Alan, if your wife put it in as a secret trust, right? It's up to you. It's incumbent on you to give them some money if and when you feel it's time. You don't have to come up with the money right now.
No, I can tell how the solicitors told me that. They've got no problem with that because they talk about people contesting the will.
Well, let her contest the will. You've got a secret trust to give them some money, and it's up to you how much you give them. That's it.
The thing with all this is, Alan, is always whenever these issues come on top, is to keep things super simple because the brain has a funny habit of you just get running, and that's the worst thing you can do. Just keep it simple.
Can I just ask you a question, Alan?
Go on.
Your wife's two kids. How close are you to them?
Well, her son has been a diamond, and I've never ever had a problem with him.
Right.
So what I've done in my will, let me just give me 2 seconds just to try and explain it from my perspective. What I've done is, because of what I've had with the problem, I never knew this. I saw her adopting daughter when her mother was a different person, a different human being. But greed is a funny thing, right? And it's really, really weird. Like the Dave and Matt and people like that, they get it because I've spoken to them one-to-one. They've seen me emotionally wrecked. You guys have seen me. I've lost it on show.
Probably not wise to air this all over this show either, so everyone can see it. This is probably best if you do this in a private.
All I say to you is, as far as the will is concerned, okay, you need to get the will out. You need to sit down and read it, okay, what's written. Now, she said, I'm going to leave you everything, but I want you to give my kids some money, and that's a secret trust. That's what she wrote, okay? It's up to you what you give them.
Absolutely.
It's not. There's no. There's no. Hang
What
on.
is this?
I wouldn't air all this here.
All I'm saying to you is
We shouldn't be
no-
doing this.
no,
Okay,
no,
all right, all right,
We
okay.
shouldn't be doing this here.
in a secret trust.
This is a private. It's a private matter. Al.
But it's funny how people, like the human being is the saying there's now as queer as folk. Want for a better way of describing it, human nature can be quite a horrible thing.
We're going, Alan. In the words of the Jewish, bless them, they call us goyim. They call us cattle because we turn from God. We choose to worship all these false idols, money, gold, silver, accoutrements, all this other thing. They laugh at us. They fucking laugh at us because we're uneducated. We're ignorant.
They can afford to because they.
Oh yes,
because most of the big Jewish families like Rothschilds that run the world, the Rockefellers all run the world.
They don't operate. They don't off. See, even now, this conversation is a goyim conversation because they don't have conversations like this because they don't operate in the world the same way as we're talking. They plant their property. They keep their dominion rights. They have full access to the law, and their property just passes from generation to generation to generation. There's no change of money or anything. We're the goyim. We've got to come out of being goyim.
But Dave, I've got to add this. I must add this because it's quite important. When the solicitors saying, I have to add.
Al, do this in a private chat. We can have a Zoom call at some point, but keep this. You don't know who in your family's listening. You don't know.
Yeah, they're jumping their snakes in the grass,
and they don't know what's going to come to your front door. Right,
shit is unbelievable.
Yeah, but just don't matter because the thing is, you start talking like this about specific individuals. You don't know what's coming through your front door. You don't know what's coming through your letterbox. So we can do this privately. We can do this away so that not everyone that's watching this stream or will watch it over the next week or two is going to hear all this and then go and talk to your family. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's just the frustration gets the better of you.
No, it's fine. But we're always at the end of a phone. So if you get frustrated, just give us a call.
No, I can't. It costs nearly £20 a day to do the underfloor eating in the downstairs down here. £20 a day.
Wow.
To do the underfloor. So it's not bad.
I better turn mine off then, didn't I?
And not only that. I mean, I've got a bit of a sore throat anyway, so that's why I've got a scarf on. But I have to because I was out. I tell you, I was out last night. I went to my club last night, darlings, and I got the last train home from Victoria, and I got off the train at West Morley in Kent, Duffs, and it was absolutely hammering down. And I had a lovely coat and a hat, and there's absolutely nobody got off the train with me, and it was really weird, you know. It's like, and I'm looking at it, and the train went, and I watched the train go, and the rain was pitter-pattering, pouring on my hat. I've got this big fedora and all that, you know what I wear.
I know you wear some good gear.
I had my cane with me. I had my cane walking down, and I'm walking down. I've got a suit on, shirt tie. I looked absolutely the dog's bollocks. And as I'm walking down, and the rain and the night, and I thought to myself, this and the peace and the harmony and the patterns of the rain on my hat. I was like singing along to it, you know. And as I walked home, it's about an 8-minute walk. I'm walking, and I thought to myself, I wish it was 80 minutes because I could have walked all night in that. It was unbelievable, calm, soothing.
Did you burst into song?
No.
Singing in the rain, isn't it?
Rain, yeah, absolutely.
I can see the rain dropping off his hat. I'm singing in the rain.
It was. And there was, and in that 8 minutes, not a car came along. No, I didn't see another soul. Everybody was asleep, you know. And I have to say to you, it's just about as good a time of the day or the evening I could ever possibly wish for. It was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It really was. But anyway, what I was going to talk about is there's a documentary coming out, which is called Died Suddenly. Now, Died Suddenly. If you Google Died Suddenly, you'll see thousands and thousands and thousands of names of people between 18 and 45 who have died suddenly ever since they took that. And they died just like that.
How many are you saying?
Yeah.
Died. It's called, if you Google it, but there's a film coming out and it's an expose and it's just irrefutable. What's
the figures, David? Mikey?
It's hundreds of thousands of people have died. I'll tell you what it says. What did it say? It says it's the greatest orchestrated die-off in world history. He said it's literally they're saying it's a 1 in 800 year event. That this would outline a great plague like in the Spanish flu with 50 million. Okay, and what's really interesting is we're still allowing people like Bill Gates to. I don't hate to keep going back to these guys, but why are they allowed to dictate who and what produces these vaccines? Nobody knows. They actually get down and analyse everything that's gone into these vaccines, and they take it out bit by bit. So this documentary died suddenly. It's almost going to be unmissable. But it's just the most extraordinary thing to think that people like the guy on the radio the other day. He's on the radio on BBC, one of the little stations, the local radio station. Just died. Just that he was dead.
You see what Dave's just put up, Mike?
Oh, there you go. 23,000 just out since out. There you go. There you go. And it's increasing more and more. In fact, my hair, which I have a real mop of hair, it's got much thinner since I had the jabs. Okay.
Wow.
God forbid. But then again,
yeah, but see, with you, Mikey, how many jabs did you actually have?
3, because I was going to America.
Yeah, I know, because a lot of people were taking the jabs because they wanted to get on an aeroplane and have holidays and so on and so forth. A lot of people were having them because of their jobs or who they worked for or if it was whatever.
There, look what Matt just put up. 223,109 unexplained deaths since May 2020. Okay, and the chances are it's more than that even, because there are people just dying in their thousands on a daily basis.
But do we actually believe the figures that are being bandied about? Because the simple reason is we don't know actually the real figures.
No, we don't. All we can do is count. I mean, a lot of people die because they're old or they've got an illness.
Yeah.
But the chances are that this is a contributing factor. If suppose it's like pneumonia, which is what COVID was really, a bad case of pneumonia.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
It was called the old man's disease. If I'm 71. If I was laying in hospital like with some like MRS,
yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, the child I'll get pneumonia, and that takes you away. Like it did both my granddads. It did both my granddads. Pneumonia took them away, but they were in hospital really sick. But it was pneumonia that killed them. So this COVID is basically a serious is a different type of pneumonia. And for me, and I never believed it. I don't believe the bollocks go around it. It's like any other disease. We've had disease every fucking year since we've been on the planet.
Jesus Jones is putting up some good comments, Mikey.
Hey?
Jesus Jones is putting some good comments up. But it was like, I don't know if I remember telling you, when Kathy was in hospital, I was pulled into a side room by one of the doctors to want to have a chat with me. And he said to me, your wife has got COVID pneumonia. I said, it's funny you should say that. I said, because last year, because her immune system's quite bad, she's prone to getting pneumonia. I said, can you describe the difference between pneumonia and COVID pneumonia? And he turned around and said, yes, it's fluid on the lungs. And I just said to him, well, you just described pneumonia. What's the difference between pneumonia and COVID pneumonia? He got up in the room and walked out.
There ain't none. It's bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, the thing is, what's happening in China, it seems to me, they're locking all these people up. It's almost like genocide that they're doing. They are keeping people in flats with no food. They won't let them outside. And if they've got any food in there, they can't go out and buy anything. They're just not letting them do it. It's the most, it's horrible. It's about 120 million people. And it seems to me like the Chinese are trying to kill everybody, like all the elites are. We all know that the general consensus of opinion amongst those who obviously know more than we do, 500 million on the planet is all it can bear. Okay, that's all it can bear. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I mean, if Putin carries on, there might be 2 million left on the planet. And they'll be walking around like Morlocks. Because they'll be irradiated, and knows how they're going to survive. But so if they drop nuclear bomb, and to some degree, we.
But know as well as I do that Putin wrote, if he sends one missile over or two missiles over, or if he goes for every city, i.e. in this country, he's got a lot of targets to hit between us and America or even in Europe.
Would be a bad
But
idea,
he
Alan.
one missile, the first missile he sends, Russia will be wiped off the face of the earth.
Well, we know
Even
it's-
so, if it happens, it wouldn't be a bad thing because most of us need fucking wiping out anyway because we're
Yeah.
all parasites.
Well, the thing is, Putin's always said they've got evidence that British special forces are implicated in sinking the Black Sea Fleet. Well, so fucking what? I don't care about Russia. I don't care about Russia. I like the Russian people. I've been to Russia. It's a nice place. The people are fabulous. It's just like every other thing. It's not the people. It's the fucking politicians. They're the ones that stir. I mean, old men start wars. Young men fight them.
There you go.
During the
Yeah,
Second
a
World
very, very good point. And Mike, a good point is what Matt's just put up as well. Regardless to what many amount of figures that are bandied about, whatever figures we say, whatever figures we're seeing, whatever figures we're hearing, one is too many.
It was totally. I mean, the thing is, if British forces are helping the Ukrainians, and there's no way those Ukrainians are as good as these weapons, because it's a dot on the cards that special forces from Britain and America and probably Australia, who knows, Canada, they're all there giving these guys expert advice how to use these HIMARS and our weapon systems, because they don't just get up in a week. So, and it wouldn't be surprising if a couple of the Brits and the Americans go, as I'll show you how to do this. And done it, But that's just the way it is. It's no difference to Putin. He talks about, he's got the fucking Chechen murderers working for him.
Yeah.
So why is it he can have his mercenaries working for him, but he
Well,
can't
we know about the Donbass region and what he's done down there.
Well, there you are. I mean,
it's the same thing, and he's good to call the kettle pot or whatever the old cliche is. What about the injecting people in the streets of our country and the poisons that have been put on door handles and places in this country where they come over onto our land or our country and killed other human beings on foreign soil.
Yep. So anyway, getting back to this, who's a DJ. It's called Stu Stew Peters. This guy, he's the guy who's done this, and apparently it's. I'm waiting for it to come out. It's not long, but it will be the biggest genocide ever perpetrated on the planet.
That sounds like an old name, though, Stu Peters.
Well, I looked at a picture of him. He's getting on, but I think he's in.
Yeah, but isn't he a long time DJ from way back?
Yeah, he's been there around some time. I don't know.
Isn't he like DJ to when you was a DJ?
No, you're thinking of Ed Stewart.
Oh, I'm sure there was a Stu Peters as well.
Oh, well, I don't know.
And it's not the same way as FTU. Stu Peters, I'm sure, was a DJ.
I'll just get back to that for a second. The Mats are putting all these things up. The biggest people who are dying, according to my figures, are among between 18 and 49.
Wow. Yeah, Matt's on the ball. Matt, sometimes when I'm watching Loquacious Live or been doing the show, and I'm sitting there, and Matt's in the background working away like a little beaver, and he puts up a lot of stuff. And he's for a young guy, he's so clued up.
Very much so.
He's like an older head on young shoulders. I know he's probably been around older people, and life's a learning curve. So you do learn from your elders, whatever anybody says.
The other thing is,
we learn from you, Mikey.
What? What's that?
We learn from you.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's a worry. Well, I can count, probably. I was just thinking, but we've seen this film now of the British moving heavy equipment with no insignia on around the country, heavy tanks, artillery pieces, nothing on it at all, just camouflage, no decals, nothing.
Yeah.
To me, they're off to Ukraine.
Really? How much is that costing us, though? When you think about the problems we've got within this country and the £7 million it's costing us a day in the immigration fiasco, and what we're paying in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, and we're talking about 3%.
we're spending 35 million a week putting these people in hotels. 35 million a week in hotels. That's what it costs us. So work that out. You know, times 52. Well, you don't have to work that. You know, it's just like it's over £1 billion, isn't it? So just to keep these fuckers, these scroungy shitbags from Albania, to come over to this country and create big gangs that are going to rob out and take our women, do all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. And the only one that I think's got any chance of doing so is that Suzanne Braverman. But you know, whether she's a blowhard, whether she's going to do, but she can't do any worse than Priti Patel. But and they want to get rid of her. And the reason they want to get rid of her because she tells the Mandarins to go fuck themselves. You know, she don't take no shit from them. But you know, is she going to survive?
But isn't it a case, Mikey? I'm not being funny with you. How much is she worth?
Oh, Susan. Well, she's I think she's a lawyer or something. She's
Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying, you can't tar the people that now on Dave's show the other night. He put in a video where an 80-year-old woman, is 82 or 84, was sitting in the dark with like LED lights to get her light from, and she couldn't put the heating on, couldn't put the electric on because she couldn't afford the bills, and she's sitting there with a water bottle and a blanket around her. About 7 o'clock in the evening, if I was right looking at the clock, and then you're talking about people like this. Surely we're tarring all these people with the same brush, because half of these politicians, or 650 politicians, most of them have never ever been anywhere other than a public school.
I mean, the thing is, well, see, what's going to happen now is come 2 years' time, the Conservatives are going to get smashed to pieces, right? And what are we going to get? What the fuck are we going to get? The left wing are going to come in here.
You know what we're going to get?
We're going to get Sir Keir Sturgeon, right?
Well, no, man.
We're going to get.
But they're all as bad as each other. Listen, when she fucked up the other day, that Suella Braverman, when she fucked up the other day, the leader of the opposition or the opposition party are supposed to be in government as opposition. They should have ripped her to fucking pieces in the fucking.
Well, what did she actually do? She sent 6 emails on a private email, and she said, "Oh fuck me, I've done that, whatever." But hang on, well, so she sent 6 emails, right?
Right, go on, yeah.
What does that mean to a man now with 3 kids, right, and his wife who doesn't work, and he's earning like 40 grand a year, okay? Yeah. And his mortgage has just gone up. He's got to pay 3 kids who are in their early teens.
Yeah.
Does that matter a fuck to him that she sent 6 emails? No, it doesn't. What matters is that the government get a fucking grip on the finance of this country and bring back some order. Now, everybody's sitting there going, oh my God, 3%. How are we going to do that? Well, fuck me. In the 1970s, I can remember it was 12, 14, 16%. I remember when Black Wednesday, under Norman Lamont, it was a fucking shit show. It's where George Soros made billions by betting against the pound. So, I mean, when people say, they go, what are we going to do? You don't know what the fuck it's like. When I bought my first mortgage, it was 6.5%. You know, yeah. And it's all relative. So, well, you know, and I was earning, what was I earning then? All them years ago, fucking what that, 80 quid a week, 100 quid, 200 quid, I don't know. But it was peak, but I still managed it. I still managed to get through it and did it. Okay, now people they don't understand what it's like. All they're getting is a touch of reality now. I know it's hard, and my fucking heart goes out to them. But the reality is you've had it good because of cheap money and low interest rates, which have been artificially kept that way. Okay, now the banks are sitting there going,
take it right
now, because all that money they're now charging on mortgages was borrowed years ago. Years ago. So why they charge us more interest on old money? When Dave was saying, when you go to sign your fucking mortgage, they don't actually come up with a stack of money like there's 250 grand. You create the money on your signature.
Yeah.
So
Dave talked about that, isn't he? In this,
right. So it's all bullshit. This fucking interest stuff. We're putting up to stop. Oh well, got to stop inflation. Well, I tell you what we do. The old world goes wipe the slate clean.
We back the money. We back the currency with our energy and our labour and our lives. We back the currency. We never used to prior to 1930s when it was backed by the gold standard and it was on derivatives, gold, silver, commodities. It's not a commodity-based thing no more. We backed the money when we went bankrupt. So that's why we're all getting shafted. the answer to the question is what we're going to get after thingy is we're going to get what we deserve because we're not paying attention, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, good point. And this isn't over by a long, long way because the agenda outreach is 2025.
Oh yeah, of course it does.
And Mikey, just let me stand corrected. The woman that we were talking about, the old pensioner that was sitting with Waterball, was 94 years of age.
And she and that poor cow is sitting there while you've got a load of Albanians coming over here on false passports and saying, "Oh, I'm a refugee."
Yeah.
They're banging her up in a 5-star fucking hotel, and that poor cow sitting around a candle trying to keep warm.
Yeah, that's the point I was kind of like echoing.
Hang on. Do you know what the energy companies are doing for all the dinghy divers? And I'm not here to pull strings. I don't want to call it thingy. But what the energy companies are doing, they're putting these cards in their meters, free credit. So they're using all the gas electric they want, and they're not paying for it. So we are being fucked over.
Oh, Spears jumped in, Mikey. Spears in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
He's coming to justify his age. That's what he's done.
So you got new dentures. Got new dentures.
Yeah. Closest.
Been to the dentist. How much was that?
So let's see who gets closest. How old am I?
You've been quiet, Spear.
I said, let's see who gets closest. How old am I?
You don't sound very good, mate. What's the matter?
So you get?
You're right. You sound a bit. What's the word? Softly spoken. Not like you. You're more forthright.
Well, my mic's right in front of me. I don't know why.
Oh, I see that. That's more like it. Perhaps it was just like a little old froggy in the throat there.
Need to turn your hearing aid up.
How are you anyway? I spoke to you for ages.
All is well, thanks.
Good. What have you been up to?
Oh, a few things really. I've got a new puppy and been doing a few more bits to the house.
Dave outbid you by what's it, a 1-year-old or 2-year-old Brodie?
I can't say too much about her on here just in case, but yeah, she's all right. She's over a year old, and she's lovely. She's moulded in. So I always said I'd never do it. I'd never take on a big dog that's from rescue, but we thought about it, and I thought, well, if it needs a good home, let's give it a good home. And I'm glad I did because she's just she's so funny. I love it. We're having fun. I love the dogs. What'd you get if you spelled dog backwards? What'd you get, people? God, there you go. Boom. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? I never knew that, Dave. Thank you. Anyway, so what's happening in
Hull? You sounded like Ricky Jeeves then.
What's happening in Hull? Spear.
I don't know what's happening in Hull because I've barely left my house. I've got to be honest.
Why are you housebound or something? What's happened?
No, just because I've just been taking it easy and doing stuff around the house, you know.
Oh, okay.
But, I don't know if you saw it earlier. I put a post up. One of the schools that isn't too far from us in Hornsey. Apparently, I'm concerned because 12 kids have tried to top themselves in the last 2 months. Yeah.
Do they? Wow. Is this to do with the lockdown or what?
Don't know. It could be due to a lot of things. I mean, you could even blame all the new masks that they've just put up outside.
Wow.
It's terrible.
You look lovely, darling.
That's horrible. That is horrible.
Mikey was saying you look good for 40.
Yeah.
I'm going to let me dog
he's
out.
Laughing. He's laughing. Mike, he's laughing.
Come on, Spear. I actually know how old you are.
Go on.
86.
Negative.
You're older than Alan.
Negative. Do you know what I like about you, Mike?
Nothing.
Anyway, Spear, I paid you a lovely compliment earlier on.
Yeah, thanks for that.
No problem, bro. Your show is actually very, very good.
Check's on its way.
Anyway, so getting back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, go on, mate.
It looks like that the utopian idea of everybody living in 15 minutes of everything you need and want. That's like, so if you live in a little utopian village, you're 15 minutes away from everything. 15 minutes away from a painter, a decorator, a plumber, a master builder. You're 15 minutes away from cinema, theatre, swimming bars, supermarket. You won't need a car. You don't need a car. You may not even need a cycle. So how do you get your shopping home? You carry it. So, I mean, it's all going to be very, very nicely, and everybody's going to be tremendously happy living in their tenements. Because you're only living in one room, you only have one room, because the place will be so overcrowded, they won't be able to do anything more than that, and that's how it's going to go. So they're talking about now 2030. 2030 is when it all starts coming up, all starts to unravel. When they finally come to the point of taking all their cards and their money away from us and giving us like little tokens that if you're really good, you can go and spend that in that shop over there, but you can't spend the next one because you can't go in there. You have to go. You have to go, and it's going to be controlled money. America is winding up for this right now, a cashless society, and it's got to be, and it's all about control. I'm now of the opinion that the population of this world will rise up and they will cast these fuckers into the fire. I cannot see the British man, the man that drives the white van, goes out and knocks his nuts off every day to make a living for him and his wife and kids, are going to put up with the fact that some arsehole sitting in his gilded cage in Whitehall is telling him that he can't have a van, he can't go here, he can't drive there, you can't drive in Bristol, you can't drive around Oxford because we've got to charge you more.
Yeah.
Because that by charging you more, that will save the planet. It will save the planet. If we take £25 of your day and drive in London, save the planet, not a problem. Never mind about ruining the economy of these places.
And they're doing that more and more in places all around the country.
Who the fuck is going to come into a city, into London? You go down Oxford Street now, and you see more and more shops being boarded up. I mean, it's getting to the point now of stupidity, and you've got that nasty little shit.
Getting to a point. Shit, mate. Where you been?
Where you been, Mike?
They made us put sticks up our noses, jabs in our arms, put cloth nappies over our face, and stay at home, locked down.
There you go. Not me.
I think the public will do pretty much anything once they've been told.
Next, it'll be food, won't it? Starve us.
Yeah, it's coming.
That's always been in the plan.
It's coming.
No meat, only insects.
Only
insects. Having none of that.
No food in the shops or nothing like that. You know, all these restaurants and all that are going to go out of business.
I just thought something. If we're going to start eating eating insects, you won't be very popular because we won't be able to sit there and pull the nits off your hair. They'll be having a nibble, like watching telly, you know.
Marketing, which how are you mates with that?
It's true though. I could do the ones in your ears. That'd be fine up your nose.
Negative.
There's a bit.
What about Spear? I bet he's got a few ticks. It looks like he's got a tick there.
Where?
Up in above your head.
Oh yeah. Well, he's only got one on it. The Feds just 0.75. They've done the same thing. It's going to go to about 6, I reckon. 6, 7, I reckon. 6 or 7%.
It's going to be crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, easy, at least. 6 or 7%.
But I've got to say for Dave was turning around and saying, there are people who've been calling what's been going on for 18 months. Sean Morris was calling everything that was going a long time ago, way back. Dave has been saying a lot of the stuff that's going on now is going to happen. You know, I met him. He said, "You wait till the interest rates start rising." Blah blah blah. People didn't listen, but now look at it. Oh yeah, he's put a post up.
Yeah, there you go. It's going to be. It's a shit show. This country and the world's a shit show. And I don't know. I mean, it gets back now that cash is king. If you've got cash, you know, you're going to be you'll be fine because you can't trust interest. I mean, I'll be sitting there. I'll be sitting on 100 grand waiting for interest rates to go to 5%. Well, they've just go past that now. I might get 5.5, 6. So I'm just going to sit on this money and just wait a little bit longer. And when I get to about 6 or 7%, then I'll invest it. I've got a lot of money invested now anyway. But so I've got this 100 grand just sitting there ready to go. So
you can imagine what that interest rate has done to people that are paying. Some people that's put £100 a month on their rent or their mortgage or whatever the case might be. A month.
It's got to go pop at some point. There's something's got to go, isn't there? I mean, it just Like I went shopping on the way home today from thing, and like they want £2.60 for a lump of cheese now, and you're just thinking, fucking hell, what the, and it's going up daily, weekly. And you just think it's mental. We are living in some mental fucking asylum. I've got to tell you.
I've got to tell you,
I went for a bacon sandwich and a cup of tea the other day. She said that's £8. I said, does that include the fucking roll? I said, is that with the roll?
No, did you keep the plate and the knife and fork?
Fucking hell.
I've got to tell you, Dave, I went into Tesco's and I went to buy a bottle of Macon Village, Louis Jadot. It's usually about £11, £18.
Yeah. You'll be lucky now if you can get a takeaway for less than a tenner.
You can't get a takeaway for less than a tenner.
Do you know what I mean?
Fish and chips at the moment is £25 for two.
Even McDonald's is about £10 now.
Yeah, but you don't pay for the meat; you pay for the cardboard.
So what are we saying? What are we saying is going so badly wrong, and is it sustainable? That's the question.
No,
is it sustainable?
It's because they printed money. They printed so much money, and the banks have been buying up debt. The European Central Bank have been buying up debt from all these countries to keep them afloat, to keep them in the EU. Now you've got the Italians now got a right-wing government who fucking hate the EU.
Michel just put lemons doubled in the price in a week, but people moan and still buy them.
That's the trouble. That is what is the problem with this country. We moan, we do fuck all, we carry on with the same old show.
It is.
No one's prepared to cancel their TV license. They're not prepared to say, no, fuck you, cancel tax, I'm not paying you. We talk the talk, but no one walks the walk. I walk the walk, fuck it. And I don't care what comes my way either, because I do what I say. That's how I am.
I had to let a drop on my doorstep the other day because I did that. I cancelled my TV license, my direct debit. And I got a letter drop on my doorstep. Look, 4 or 5 days after I cancelled my... And I thought, the fuck is so soon on it? They want their fucking pound of flesh.
If you're sponsoring all these things now, you're part of the problem, and you're partly to blame for what's coming. Because they have got their agenda is so in your face now, and all you're doing by funding them is putting fuel on the fucking fire that you're enslaving yourself with. You're enslaving yourself. You're paying through your council taxes and that for the police to drag you out of the cars and beat fuck out of you. So in the law of nature, you deserve what you get. Because we're all moaning, we don't like it, but no one's brave enough. And I was like, oh no, don't want the neighbours thinking, oh, for fuck's sake.
It's going to come to the point where it's not a question you don't want to pay, you can't pay.
That's what I mean.
It's going to be the first thing that's going to go. I mean, what do you get for it? Nothing. They don't even bother to take the fucking rubbish away unless it suits them. And if the bin ain't down tight, they won't take it. I mean, it's a nightmare. It's a shit show. And look at the state of the roads. The government say what's all.
Michelle's just put that in the chat below. She's saying exactly the same thing. But you look at how much money the fuel companies have just released, the profits they've just made. Everywhere around here, anyway, and 3 garages around here, every single one of them is 91.9 for diesel.
Yeah, it's a joke, isn't it? For what? And it's the cheapest it's the cheapest fuel to produce.
And a barrel of oils is gone down.
That's gone down. But their profits are the biggest they've been.
Yeah. And
you need to take a reality check for a minute. Reality check is this. That when we see the price of petrol, the price of oil drops, say it was $100 a barrel, and then in a week's time it goes down to 90, drops $10, right? Remember what they're buying. They buy oil like they buy gas in advance. You won't see the price that really come down for a month or two, perhaps 3 months, and then it will drop down considerably. Then it might go up again. But that's basically how it works. Because they're buying petrol, they're not buying spot petrol like these supermarkets do. That's why supermarkets can be cheaper. Because
that's what they tell us, Mike. That's what they tell us. No, hang on. That's what they tell us. But unless we've got physical and material evidence to back that up, I don't think that stands up.
Well, I mean, the thing is, where it all goes horribly wrong is that, like, when Rishi Sunak did that fight, I've given you taking 5p. When did you see 5p come off the price?
No. Have you just seen what they're doing in Canterbury? in Canterbury.
Can't go around the ring. I'm around the ring road. And that's
They're,
it.
no, they're trialing this thing out that you can't leave your area for 100 days a year.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
So,
Bullshit.
but the people are going to go along with it. This is what I'm saying. No
Yeah.
one's prepared to say,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, Jack. I'm not tolerating it."
I'm not going to. Who's gonna
It come with the credit cards. Your credit card will be stopped if you go out of a certain area.
Yes,
It's
it
the same
will.
sort of thing.
It
That's
fucking will.
exactly what they're going to do. That's what I was talking about just now, wasn't I?
So I'm at the point now, you know, if they want it.
Well, what is actually left?
I mean, the thing
Is there any? I mean, what's
It
his
won't be
name?
credit card, it'll be
Reasons
chip.
to be cheerful. I think we haven't got any, have we?
Oh no, there's always plenty of reasons to be cheerful, Alan, and there's, you know, we've got to drive on in life. That's what we're
Well,
here
yeah,
for.
I get that, but we got to do it in the mass, not the few.
The thing is, you see, but these people could do what they like. Okay, if it doesn't suit, if it doesn't suit us, and it gets back to what Dave's saying, we don't do fuck all about it. People still vote these people back in.
Yeah.
Now, if me, as us three, there was 3 council places up to run the council, just for argument's sake. What the fuck do we know about running the council? Well, I've run my own business. You've run your own business. Dave's run his own business. They come up with nowhere, made himself a good life and everything else. I did really well. I made a business. You've done all right, Alan. You know, so we know how it is to run a business, how it is to employ staff and engage with people, how to go and sell, how to go and do all the things you do, all the things that you have to do to make your business successful. Okay, what the fuck have most people who run the council done? Nothing. They're career politicians. I mean, if you go in the House of Commons, most of the people sitting on their benches have never done a day's work in their life. Nothing. They go fuck all. They've got no experience of anything. So us three have got more chance of running a more successful government, a government department or a council than the people actually doing it. But we don't get voted in. We don't get voted in. Why? Because we've got no money behind us. We've got no party machine behind us. And people are frightened to invite to bring us in. Why are they frightened? Because they are scared shitless by the bullshit given out by the parties and all the fucking propaganda. That's the problem. If you could just get the people to come together and once say, fuck you, banks, we ain't going to pay our mortgages for 6 months, the country would be fucked.
That's what's needed.
Done.
That's what's needed.
Done.
People, we
Yeah,
got.
but people talk about selling the country off. We sold the country off.
Yeah, well,
It's not the country's down the river.
Chinese are being next.
The banks have owned the country for years, so the country.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We got a mate of mine, Ved Chowdhury. She's Richie Sunak's is one of her family members.
Yeah.
But they've just had a house taken off of them about a week or two ago. The police and bailiffs turned up. But what's actually happened is they've gone and taken the house back. Now, I know many people in Kent. We've got the Kent Renegade crew. If we get bailiffs and evictions, we, the Kent Renegade crew, we generally go round and get the houses back, take the shutters off, put them on the inside, and it fucks the bailiffs and it fucks them all off. These are the actions that are needed by people to fight this fucking bullshit. These are the people that are brave. Everyone that takes part in the Kent Renegade crew are brave individuals because they're worried about being arrested or this and that. They're there getting people's properties back. And now these are the people we've all got to be like in many ways. We're too scared. Oh, I'll get a bill through the door, pay it. But you're paying for your own fucking genocide, people.
Yeah, but when you look at it, Dave, when you look at Rishi Sunak's wife, who has 91% of a company that owns is worth billions, he fucking needs a job like the Prime Minister, like a fucking hole in the head. The amount of money they're fucking worth.
They're just they got no sway on reality. What was it?
Well, you've got to look at the money that's involved in all of this shit as well. Look at Cassie, the way how much money he got. Liz Truss, she got £140,000 guaranteed for life just for being Prime Minister for a couple of weeks.
It's honestly we need
enhanced pension.
Yeah, we need a big check-up, and I'm hoping them times are coming. I can't walking around seeing high street shops all shutting up, seeing the cost of food in supermarkets, and the other thing is all the time we that live fairly decent lives are paying this and that. How far separated from the people that just can't afford shit are we pulling away from?
Yeah,
and we're leaving them. We're leaving them in the dirt to perish, and that's disgusting. Do you know what? There was a lad Trying to think what his name was. He was unemployed. He was on disability or whatever. When he passed away, because he hadn't eaten, he weighed just over 4 stone.
Yeah.
So we are, whether you like it or not, we're being fucking genocided.
Yeah.
And
you know as well as I do, the ultimate goal of everybody's anything to do in this country is get rid of the English. Okay,
Of course.
let's water down the English. Let's get rid of the fucking English. The English are I'm English. We're all English. Okay, we are without that the finest race of people on the planet because we take no shit from no one until we come to fucking politics. Okay, where somebody comes in, like you take any decent young guy, who goes to football, he's rabid football support. He'll fight tooth and nail for it, but he won't fight tooth and nail for his country. Okay,
No.
Why is that? Why is that? Because they don't believe in the country they live in. Because that love and care has been driven out of them by politicians, by fucking school teams, by people who are supposed to have more intelligence than we have. Well, I've got intelligence. Oh, us three have got intelligence more than most people fucking giving lectures in universities because we understand what it's like to live on the street and be on the fucking street. We don't know how to defend ourselves on the street, and we also know what fucking makes the street tick and what makes working people want to stand and go, no, fuck you, no, and we do that. But the majority of people now are not English; they're British, and they're different. They're not the same and don't have the same resolves.
Very good point.
If you take the Brits from say 90 from the Boer War right through to the end of the Second World War, this country was fucking unbelievable. We didn't give a fuck for anybody. We fought the Germans twice and beat them. We had leaders you could trust in. You had people out there who were actually fighting for us. And what we got now, people just fucking fighting to feather their own nests, not people. You could turn around and say, I really admire this guy. I can vote for this guy. And there's not one fucking person in the House of Commons right now you can actually put your hand up and say, I think this guy can do a job for us. Because they fucking can't. None of them can. And the best thing we can do is chuck the lot out and put people back in there who can do the job for us. Not career politicians, but people that run businesses. People understand the law. People understand commerce. People understand economics. People understand policy. And are learned. You don't have to be fucking. You can't be 25 and be a learned fucking guy running a government department. You can't know anything about what people need, want, and desire because it's not come to you yet. You haven't learned. You haven't got the experience. But we have us three together. We've knocked the bollocks out of most of those fuckers. We sit up there and talk like we do now. Talk common sense. Mostly, most of us talk bollocks. But
William Blackstone, Commentaries of England, was a very, very great man, and the Commentaries of England are fabulous. He turns around and says, every gentleman that knows the law and ought to know the law, in his mind, when he's casting judgment on people and even taking their souls, because back then there was a death penalty, he said his first focus should be on the most wretched and the most ill individual in this country that's got the least, to protecting them and their rights. And that we're far from that, man. We are.
But we got a sailor in the chat room, right? R. Charles, right? And when you talk about what you was talking about, and you went on that little bit of a rant there, Mikey, when you're talking about maritime law and admiralty law, that's where it stems from, this colonialism.
Absolutely. But the thing is, I mean, Cockney says, until global populations rise up and continue to become. Now, what's happening, you only have to see what's happening in Iran, right? The population, most of them are under 40. The majority of people are under 40 years old because the wars they fought against Iraq, okay? They killed so many young men. And they killed, and so a lot of people that are newborns. They're like my daughter is, like in her 40s, So they are the young people. They know what it's like, So what's Iran going to do? They're going to start a war with Saudi Arabia to divert the population away from the internal problems to get the people saying, we can sort out later. We'll sort out we've got to sort out Saudi Arabia first. Let's start a war, and that's what all countries do.
Iran, we're just coming to the end of the show as well, gentlemen, but Iran has actually declared war against his country. I don't know if anyone knows.
It's a fuck what Iran think. All of the same, but General Galtieri did that in Argentina.
You might say that, but if the Iranian leaders in their country through the declaration of war end up going through the mosques and start shouting Takir. We don't know. We are, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not, we're importing an army of fighting age men through dinghies every single day, and they're coming in. They're giving us two fingers. They spitting at us, and they
Cockney Patriot might be right in that culling bit.
They're coming for a piece of the pie, guys. And so, look, listen, it's coming up 20 past 10. I won't be long for I'm in bed. I've had a busy week. I want to thank Mike, as always, for coming in and bringing his gorgeousness and his passion and truth, as always. Alan Merritt's lovely to see you, Al, the only bald man in the room tonight.
Before we go, when are we having our pie match day?
Yeah, whenever, mate.
We've got to do it in a couple of weeks' time.
Do it 2 weeks' time, fine by me. We're going to have a nice day out.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
I reckon we'll organise it in a couple of weeks' time.
The first Saturday in December.
We'll get Swifty involved in all.
Yeah, the first Saturday in December.
And
As
if
long as he
anyone
hasn't
in the chat wants to
hang
come,
on.
let us know.
I don't think you'll have any rockets with him this time.
Oh, no.
Thank fuck for that. Right, guys and girls, listen, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Brilliant.
I want to say thank you to Alan Merritt, thank you to Michael Reynolds for popping in, and the spear throwers also. Well done for
Dave.
the show, spear thrower.
Dave, Steve wants to say something quick.
Could I put the link to the foxhole in your chat?
Of course you can.
Anyone's free to join. You just all you need is a mic. We'll just have a chat like this, but we're not live.
Yeah, Mikey, you go in the foxhole. It's really good.
It's in the foxhole. Anyway, I'm off, guys and girls. I love you. I'll see you all soon.